everybody was singing an a cappella, in the church. I think, yeah, there was one guy playing the guitar, the deacon, some guitar. It was, come to think of it, it wasn't even tune, but it was.
Morning, man. How are you?
Good vibes, blessings.
Well, I'm glad we got it all figured out. Right on.
Yeah, it's all figured out now,
Yeah, man, I appreciate your time today. My name's Adam, and this is a podcast about you and your journey in the music industry. And we'll talk about your new songs and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, man, blessings.
Cool. First off, where were you born and raised?
In a place, M.O.A.M, in St. James, Jamaica,
Okay. Are you still there, or did you move to where? Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. What was it like growing up there?
What is that country vibes? I know that country that they like in America, Southern hospitality vibes, that natural, it was a fun vibes, loving family vibes and all that stuff. But there were some parts where it was third world country thing is a lot of poverty experience, extreme poverty sometimes. But during all that time we had fun because it was a loving, it wasn't like the inner city. It was from so there was a lot of love and wild hardship. So it was a good vibes, fun, good experience.
Yeah. What about music? How do you come from a musical household at all?
Well, I mean, my grandfather, my grandfather, granduncle, grandaunts were all singers in the area. The top singers.
Oh, cool.
They used to go around and sing sing at in churches, different churches. They were known as the singers all over the place. They have a group, and so I think it skipped. I mean, their sons and came to us, to the grandsons,
It skipped a generation there.
Skipped a generation.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I've heard that before. Where it's like, oh yeah, I got my music from my grandparents, but not, you know what I mean? Their parents are musical in any sort of way. That's cool. So, but obviously, were your parents? They must have been supportive of what you were doing a bit, especially coming from musical households.
Well, not really. They weren't really. My father was against it. He felt
really?
Yeah, he felt like I was my mind was more thing like my mind. He said I was wasting my brain, because I was good in the academics, I was good in the world of academics. But my mother was supportive because it was her father. That at the time. So she kind of understood, But back in those days, parents really want to secure, like music is a dream, but they wanted to secure like a occupation, a career, that profession.
Sure, yeah, it's some stability especially if you're good at academics and you go to college and then you get this certain job that's you're going to work at for, however many years and get, your all the benefits and whatever comes with that. But art is so subjective. Yeah.
We want to work in our world as artists. Just the passion comes first,
Sure. Well, what was the first instrument you learned? Did you sing at an early age too? I'm curious.
Yeah, I was singing in church when I was young, like 11 years old I started.
Okay.
I think 11, 12, that's when I found out I could sing. I didn't even know that I could sing. We went to it. We had a little, in the village, we had a church, a little church that had no piano in there and all that stuff. No musical instrument. They just in the countryside, The only thing they had was a tambourine, somebody shaking.
Keep some rhythm.
Yeah, keep some rhythm. But everybody was singing an a cappella, in the church. I think, there was one guy playing the guitar, the deacon, some guitar. It was, come to think of it, it wasn't even tune, But it was.
Just tuned by ear, hopefully that it's somewhere close. Can somebody give me an E?
So the vibe is that's where they asked me to sing a solo. I did something and they found out, my grandparents found out that I had a voice. I sing a song called There's a Roof Up Above Me. There's a roof up above me and a good place to sleep. You know that song? Put on my tape. So they found out and said, oh, I have a good voice, and they started pressuring me. They started applying the pressure since, But at that age, I didn't want to do singing. I wanted to do more rapping vibes because it was like a dancehall vibes, because it was more for a younger thing, you know.
Yeah. That was the cool thing to be doing, right?
Yes,
It wasn't probably as cool to be singing in the choir or in the church choir, right? Sure, of course.
Plus, there was no choir. It was
just,
it was a little, just a small in the countryside, in the village, you know, poverty in Jamaica. You know what I mean? That, you know, just you know, one away thing. It wasn't formal. It wasn't structured. It wasn't just. It's like we call it a revival church.
Okay.
In most of the drums, but I didn't play any instruments. Then I didn't play an instrument until started playing guitar. I learned. I mean, I think I was like in my 20s. Yeah, that's what I started learning to play a guitar, and it was just
really.
Yeah, it was because I was always writing songs and singing and coming up with stuff, and I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get it. But musicians around know that, like, it was a natural thing for me, so they told me that I should play an instrument because I have good ear, you know? So I can, play by ear and all that stuff. And that's how I started. I trained myself how to play it. Yeah.
But it wasn't until your 20s.
Yeah, my 20s, yeah, man.
But before that, were you? You said you wanted to do rap. Were you doing that at all and writing? Were you writing songs or like?
Before that, I was in school. You know, college, working. At one point, I was like a school teacher, a small time, just for a small time. Some maths teacher. I went to college, a teacher's college, and then I was moving around and doing all kind of stuff. You know, doing all kind of stuff. You know, what I mean, doing. You know, and then I was living in the U.S. at one point. You know what I mean? Just going through my youthful experiences, experiencing different things in life. You know what I mean? But circumstances forced me, you know, put the hand on me and said, you know, this is what your true calling is. This is what, and you know what I mean? And I went on a talent show. After being in situation, I went on a talent show and I sang and I won. And then
wow.
And then I won the semifinals and won the finals. And got a record deal from a local label in Miami at the time, and I did one.
Did you go on it? What? Sorry, just to back up, because this is really fascinating to me. So you landed in the United States, and were you in Miami? Is that where you went?
Yes. I was in Miami.
Okay, so what took you to Miami? Job?
No, well, I mean, my parents, they had moved up when I was young, and it was during that time. It was a migration. You know, they got my green card. My green card came through. My mother and father was here before. They came up early and they started filing for us, for me and my brothers and my sister. So the filing came through, right? At age, that was like 20 came. So we had to migrate from Jamaica to the US. So that's when I ended up in Miami, you know.
And is that where you, sorry, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's good. I went to college and all that stuff. And then,
in Miami?
In Miami, yeah.
Okay. And then from there, you when do you do this contest? Were you in the United States still, or did you?
I was in the contest. I mean, I was in a situation where I was I was an unfortunate incident happened, you know, when I got locked up, you know. So when I got locked up, it was like a lesson for me, you know. It was I got a small thing, you know, that was good enough, and started thinking while I was in there. The people around, the people that was in there to, you know, the inmates, you would say that you have talent, and you know, and at one point, while I was there, I had entered a competition, the National Library of Poetry, because I was always also a poet. I had a lot of natural, you know, also a poet, and I entered a major competition in Miami, in Florida, and the grand prize was $48,000 in prizes. It was competing against all poets throughout Florida, and I qualified to read in the top 5. I was in the top 5 to come and read, and the final was for me to read now to see if I would win, you know. So I won. So they picked 5 out of the whole state of Florida, and I was in, you know what I mean. So, and then when the letter came to my mother's house and to my family house that I was now chosen to come and read and all that stuff to win the poem, win the whole 58,000. I was locked up, you know, so it's like I couldn't go, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow. So you were locked up when the award was
all those
coming.
Things, it was for a few months. It was like I was locked up for 4 months, you know, 4 months. So, you know, and then I got the time I got time, and you know, everybody in there, all the older guys who've been through many things and what I said. I'm too talented. While I was there, I was also singing and writing in there, you know what I mean? So they said, you're too, you know what I mean? All kind of stuff. So when I came out, it was that was the final, you know, confirmation to say, okay, this is what you're born to do. You're born for the arts, singing, writing, and all this stuff, you know, and all this stuff. So I started focus then, fully. I didn't go back. I was supposed to finish up to get a master's in college. I didn't go back. I just kind of said, you know what? I have my passion. I found my passion, you know. And this is it. God revealed it to me. So I went and, you know, I went on a talent show and I won the semifinals. And then the next week I won the finals and my name started going around. You know, that's where the journey started. Wow.
What was it? Was it a talent show? You said it was televised. Was it in Miami as well?
Yeah, it was in Miami. It's a club called Norman's Club. It was a reggae talent show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I didn't even know, because I went there and I went doing a cappella.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no rhythm, no beat. The other contestants had beat, but I was just singing a cappella. My voice alone won the competition, 2 times, you know? So
yeah.
It seems that was evident enough for me to buckle down. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening because I was listening to your records, and it's obviously it's got definitely reggae to it, but it wasn't the reggae in the sense of what I was anticipating when I started playing it. Because your voice, it sounds more like an R&B record. It's like R&B because your voice is so good. Over more, instrumental of a reggae record.
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Exactly.
Yeah, so it's mainly. I mean, there's traditional reggae that like I said, like I was assuming, and then I'm like, oh wow, like this isn't the same thing. This is like more of an R&B vibe over reggae chords.
I fused both cultures because living in the US, I started doing R&B. I worked to different, because when I started, I'm going around now, like when I won the competition, I started developing stuff now, learning more about what it is to be an artist, developing my ear more, you know what I mean? Because at that time before then, it was just a fun thing for us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For me and my friends. I just knew that I just knew that they say I can sing and people say that I can write and I'm lyrical and all that stuff. While I was in college. So I just knew that I had these abilities. I hear things naturally, just inside. But I've never had any professional experience or training and not like that. So when I came out now, doing a cappella now, I had to really start sitting on rhythms. And so I developed in the studios, and along the way I started working. I put singles out. I started singing in a band in Miami too, like those bands that you go around and sing. And started with one song, developing my craft. Then I got a deal. Warner Brothers approached me. I got some kind of Warner Brothers.
Wow. Well, that must have been a huge validating moment. Like, okay, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. And they gave me one of their scouts heard me on the band. A lady and said, "Wow," and they went to the A&R and said, the A&R and told her about, she told them about me and all that. And they told me to give them a song, and I sent a song called 27 Years. I was working with a producer then. 27 Years was an R&B song. 27 years of life. 27 years. You know what I mean? That bit. She looked back, said it's been a long, long time. Back then, that vibe.
I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah. So I was writing about my mother and my father's situation, So So they heard it, loved the production, and said, "Well, I should give them like 3 more songs." And they gave me 6 months to do it. But it didn't work out. My producer that I was working with, a lot of misfortune happened. By the time I submitted the 3 songs, the A&R that was waiting on me got fired. Because back then, A&R's moved like, A&R's don't stay at company or something like that happened. So I missed that. Right. But they were looking for me. Then after that, I got signed with an independent label that had a link with Def Jam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then Def Jam heard me, and they, I was doing some more deeper R&B stuff. And, they started giving me compliments. Like, I remember one time one of the MDs in Def Jam said I reminded them of Sam Cooke and all those guys. They were wondering, how is it that I'm a Jamaican and I talk this way so bad, you know? I talk so hardcore with the accent, yet when I sing, they used to say, man, when you sing, we say, wait, they say, when you talk, I don't understand a word you're saying, man, but when you sing, you damn near sound like Luther, man. That's what they used to say, you know, like that. They used to say, they used to look at my voice and say, where did it go, where it go? So it's like, they used to wonder where the soul came from, you know, but I just, you know, so that, you know, my experience with those labels. And in America, I went around doing some R&B stuff, and I just never, the labels negotiating with the people that were managed, that were in my camp, just never work out. It just, you know how it goes. You know,
right.
But
happens,
I learned from the experience, and I came back with all the knowledge. You know me.
That's all that matters. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all matters. That's all matters.
Okay.
I mean, it's a short story I gave, but at one point I was even soon Tom Matola even had a project with Tom Matola. I did a song called Reggae Salsa in Miami, and they heard it. A guy called Peter Swerling. Peter Swerling was a Sony branch, A&R from Europe, a European branch, you know what I mean, in Sony, and he heard me. He heard this song and they loved it, and they sent it to Tom Matola, and a song called Reggae Salsa. At that time, there was a Latin invasion. Living La Vida Loca was out. And
oh, yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. And I came up with this song, Reggae Salsa, and it was, they were impressed by it. I just wrote it, and so they got musicians together. They got the Miami Sound Machine to play on it. They got Jennifer Lopez musical. It was supposed to be big, you know? And I mean, Tom Matola came and said, oh, you're a genius, all that stuff. And that fell true too, you know? So, I mean, it's a journey. I mean,
wow. Okay. So with that song, did that kind of change everything for you? And then when do you start writing stuff and putting it out just as a solo artist?
Well, I mean, after all that experience, after I think like 7 years experience,
okay,
I decided that, you know, I come to Jamaica, you know, and I came back to Jamaica. I kind of said, okay, I'm gonna fuse. I see that there's a place for me. I'm gonna fuse soul with reggae. Because I don't think it was coincidental. I think it was a natural thing, because the soul is a natural part of me that I didn't even know. But what America brought it out, you know. And because I'm a guy from, you know, reggae music is my culture and all that stuff. So I feel like it was a unique blend. And the label that I'm working with now, Tadz, it's been, I've known him like for 13 years, you know. And he was the first one that recognized, Mr. Tadz, he was the first one that recognized that flavor in Jamaica, because he lived in America for many years, even though he was Jamaican, so he know the sound. So, you know, he told me that the best way for your style, it's a unique style and it can work. The best way for this thing to work is for you to sing on the reggae beats, hardcore, with that flavor. Don't change the flavor, but sing it on the reggae. And that will give you a unique thing. And at first I was fighting it, but but it works now, because from what you even said earlier, from just your reaction, I see that you felt like it's a different thing.
Yeah, like I said, I've never heard something like that. I was shocked and impressed. It was like, oh, that was just going into it thinking, oh, it's going to be a reggae song. Cool. I like reggae. And then with your vocals over it was just totally not what I was expecting. And I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. This is something totally different than I've ever heard. Experience. Yeah, it's amazing. So tell me, you've got a couple new songs out, but what year did you move back to Jamaica? I'm just curious. 2007. Timeline wise.
2007, but I started recording like 2008. The first couple months, I just wanted to have fun, you know, because I'd been back to Jamaica for 10 years, 11 years. So I just wanted to soak up stuff. You know?
Sure. And so you've been there ever since?
I didn't, no. I mean, I did like in the first 2 years, but I didn't go back after that. That's another long story. But you know, what happened? When I came back, you know, I catch up with the vibes. My first song that I wrote, my first single hit, was "So in Love." The first single that I wrote, the first song that I wrote, and the producer was called Bobby Digital back then, and it became a hit song, the first song. And then my name started calling, and then the second song became another hit. And then Shaggy, you know, approached me. Shaggy approached me in 2009-10. I said, I love your voice, and I did a song called Two Places, and you know, I sang the hook and the chorus, and he loved it, and then he rapped on it. And but I wasn't able to travel for many years because of situation in America. So I was stuck in Jamaica for like 9-10 years. So, but I had all these songs that resonated out there. These hits, you know, that resonated. And so like each year, like when I from 2008 to 2015, 2016, I had a consistent, every year I had 1 or 2 hit songs. So my name was buzzing all over, but nobody could see me in the US. I couldn't go to Canada. I couldn't go to England because, you know, you know, it was the thing, you know, my situation, when I got locked up, it was like it created an inadmissible offense, like a deportable offense. You know? So when I came back, I couldn't come back into the US. So I, you know, nobody could see me for 9 years, but I just kept working. Producing and all that stuff. Building my catalog to what you probably see now. You know?
Wow. Okay. That's
so the journey is real, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh my gosh. Well, you've got, I mean, the songs that like I said, the new ones that you've been putting out, like TikTok, I'm Coming. I like that song. Like, tell me about that song. Obviously, TikTok is the biggest app in the world right now. And tell me about your take on that song and where that all came from.
Yeah. Well, when the album was about to, when I finished the production on the album, the engineer said to me that, Hezron, you have all these great songs that you're, you know, on the album and all that stuff for the world, but what about a song for your poor fan base? I mean, the ladies. So I said there's a lot of songs on it for the ladies. You know? They said, no, I'm talking about a sense. You know what they want, a sensual, sexy songs. So I said, oh, okay. But I wasn't gonna go. I thought about it and I started thinking like, should I go on an Al Green kind of beat? I was thinking that because I didn't want to go on these trap sounding beat. No disrespect to what's going on, but I just, you know, I mean, I wanted to go on something that I really feel that would last forever, a real soul music. So I got a beat from, I had, you know, a beat from somebody that sent me a beat long time ago, and I took it, put hands on it, produced it, make it big. And while I was writing it, I said, I want to, the app, because I'm a TikTok, I love TikTok. I don't follow, I don't look like the type that follow social media. I'm even shy. I don't even like, you know what I mean, people do it for me, but there's something about TikTok that I like. I don't know why. You know? So I'm always on TikTok watching the videos. You know? So and I said, it was a new thing. So I said, how do I craft an old school song, an old school feel for now? How do I craft it? How do I, you know, in my mind, I started thinking to craft it. You know what I mean? It's a crafty feel, you know, and to write it in a way, but still sing it with integrity and still keep the soul, but make sure that it's applicable to now and it's accepted now. You know what I mean? Bringing it to, and that's where TikTok, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to use a TikTok, I'm coming. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? And then it, you know, it worked, and you know, people loved it. So that's you know, the blues feel.
Yeah. Wow. And so the new album is out, right? But that's not, the song's not on that record. Oh yeah, it is on the record. Okay. So tell me, so when do you, Man on a Mission. So Man on a Mission recently came out. Tell me about that. When were you writing that record? Was it during the pandemic, or was this all written like post-pandemic? Okay.
Yeah, it was during the pandemic. Yeah.
Was it hard to like, I mean, if you're, I don't know what the regulations were like in where you were, but was it pretty locked down? Like, how were you able to work and get the record out?
I worked like crazy for the 2 years, because in Jamaica, while the US was open, Jamaica was locked down for 2 years. Literally, like we couldn't move 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock, you couldn't pass 8 p.m. You know,
sometimes you couldn't go outside.
Couldn't go outside. Sometimes 5 p.m. Sometimes 3 p.m. You couldn't go outside. Wow. You know, so sometimes, and then it's like from 6 to 3, and then sometimes like 2 days, 24 hours lockdown. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but I still, it made me more efficient. It made me make use of my time. You know what I mean? And it made me, and a matter of fact, to me, it kind of, you know, it worked in my favor, because as musicians, we tend to work late at nights and get up sluggish whenever we feel like, you know, in the day and all that stuff. But it made me more efficient. It made me say, okay, I'm gonna go to bed this time because I get up in the morning. I only have 5-6 hours to do this stuff. So you know what I mean. So that's what I did, and 4 hours. So we did everything. I was in the studio with the musicians. By 8 o'clock in the morning, 8-10 o'clock, we worked. You know what I mean, 3-4 hours. You know what I mean, and then we get this thing out of the way, and then, you know what I mean, and we moved around efficiently and all that stuff. So up and down the videos, we would you know what I mean, drive from early in the morning to get these videos done, and you know what I mean, send off the mixes, send off for it to be mixed, we send it to the house, you know, to the engineers, and you know what I mean, that so it was very effective, but it was a lot of fun still. You know what I mean, because I was doing what I want. And the whole creative aspect, the whole creative aspect of it, and up and down, driving up in Jamaica. Because even in Jamaica, I didn't even know that there were so many nice places. While I was doing this album, the videos I had to go to, like Man on a Mission video. You saw that. I didn't even know that there are places where people were surfing in Jamaica. I didn't know that, and I lived there.
Really? So you got to explore Jamaica and find new areas within your own country that you didn't even know existed.
Exactly. So the Man on a Mission album, you know, so you know, it was, you know, and because I knew in my mind what I wanted, and I had planned to just let go on this album. I wasn't holding back, you know what I mean? And the first song that I wrote in the pandemic was Resilience, because I was I was communicating with the people, you know, something to uplift them, because I felt like it was, you know, what was going on. I saw what was happening, and you know, Man on a Mission. I also was something, even though it's to give the people, it's for the it's for the process of the comeback. You know what I mean? How to overcome this thing. And that is why the album is, if you notice, is kind of, you know, it's positive, uplifting, all of that. Despite what's going on, there's a sort of, you know.
Right. Despite all the hardship and everything that was happening, especially over the past 2 years, here's something positive that you can check out for sure.
And then at the same time, because people are locked down, we have a love song, TikTok, I'm coming.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Hezron, for your time today, man. This has been awesome. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Good vibes, man.
I do have one more quick question before I let you go. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Yeah, well, this question is such a tricky question because I asked it so many. They asked me so many times. But the truth is, all I can say is to be patient. Master your craft. Think about the craft first. Create a value first. You know, don't rush into things. It's about the music. Once you master your craft and be patient, your value will become unquestionable. Your worth will become undeniable. You won't need to go through the ups and downs and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And the patience is the greatest thing. That's what I would say. Because for me, it's what I did. And I cannot, and another most important thing is, it may sound harsh, but love it or leave it. It may sound harsh, but from what I've been through, from me, what I've taught, what I've experienced, you can see that only the passion kept me going through this thing. It's like, I mean, most artists would have given up already. You know what I mean? But I've been through a lot, and I'm still here passionately with it because it's a passion, it's love. So you love it, be patient with it, master your craft, become one with the product, you know what I mean, with you, and you'll be undeniable. That's what I believe. Bringing it back